You're about to hear the completely true story of the day a small Florida town got so fed up with the US government, they decided to secede, declare war, and then surrender, all in about the time it takes to make a sandwich. All right, just picture it for a second. You've made it. You're on vacation. You're in a place that's pretty much paradise on Earth. You can feel the sun on your skin. You can smell that salt in the air. You've got your flip-flops on. Life is good. You are completely, totally relaxed. And then, bam, right when you're hitting that perfect vacation vibe, the whole thing just comes to a screeching halt and is replaced by something, well, something very official. That's right. All of a sudden, you're being treated like you're crossing an international border with inspections and agents and the whole thing. Welcome to the Florida Keys, apparently. So let's set the scene a little better. We're in Key West, Florida. The date is April 23rd, 1982. This is a town that runs on tourism, sunshine, and, as you're about to find out, a pretty serious rebellious streak. Now, to really get what happens next, you have to understand the geography of the Keys. There is literally one road in and one road out. The Overseas Highway, US Route 1. If you block that road, you don't just cause traffic. You basically put a cork in the bottle, cutting the islands off from the rest of the country. And that single point of failure is exactly where this whole story kicks off. The stage was set for a huge showdown, all because of one single government roadblock. So the US Border Patrol sets up this massive checkpoint just north of the Keys. Now, the official reason was to look for drugs and undocumented immigrants. Sounds reasonable on paper. But in the real world, it was a complete disaster. It created this legendary multi-mile traffic jam. We're talking tourists trapped for hours, locals who couldn't get anywhere, and the entire local economy, which depends on people getting in and out, was just getting absolutely hammered. Now, what would your town do in this situation? You'd probably write some angry letters to your congressperson, right? Maybe hold a town hall meeting. The normal stuff. But this is Key West. And they looked at this whole mess and came to the only logical conclusion they could. It was time to leave the United States. And just like that, out of pure frustration and a bit of theatrical genius, a brand new country was born, the Conch Republic. This whole thing was led by the actual mayor of Key West, a guy named Dennis Wardlow. He stood up in front of everyone and announced that since the US government was already treating them like a foreign country, well, they were just going to make it official. So why call it the Conch Republic? Well, a conch is the nickname for a true local, someone born and raised in Key West. It was their way of planting a flag for their own unique identity against this crazy blockade. But just declaring independence? That wasn't enough. Oh no, that was just the beginning. They decided to take it one step further. It was time for this brand new Conch Republic to declare war on the United States. And their strategy was it was beautiful. Step 1, secede. Done. Step 2, declare war. Step 3, surrender almost immediately. And then, the absolute masterstroke, Step 4, apply for $1 billion in foreign aid as a defeated enemy nation. And to really get the vibe of this so-called war, you just have to look at their weapon of choice. It wasn't guns, it wasn't missiles, it was stale Cuban bread, which they symbolically broke over the head of a guy in a US Navy uniform. So how long did this epic battle for independence last? 60 seconds, 1 minute. It was over before you could even find a good song on the radio. It wasn't really a war, it was more like a very brief, very public, carb-based protest. But see, that instant surrender wasn't a sign of failure. It was the entire point. And what happened next proves that sometimes a really good punchline can be way more powerful than any weapon. So right after their 60-second war ended, Mayor Wardlow, who is now Prime Minister Wardlow, formally demanded $1 billion in foreign aid from the US to help rebuild his war-torn nation. I mean, the sheer audacity is just incredible. And here's the crazy part. It worked. The story was so funny, so bizarre, that the media absolutely loved it. It went viral before viral was even a thing. Suddenly, the whole country was talking about this ridiculous roadblock that was strangling a small American town. Well, the national attention and, frankly, the embarrassment was just too much for the federal government. Very, very quickly, that roadblock just quietly disappeared. The Conch Republic had won its war,
by immediately losing it. And today, the spirit of the Conch Republic is stronger than ever. It's become a huge part of Key West's culture and identity. It's a massive draw for tourists. You can even buy souvenir Conch Republic passports. And every single April, they throw a huge party to celebrate their Independence Day.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's a brilliant reminder that sometimes the best way to fight back isn't with anger, but with absurdity. It proves that with a little bit of humor, a really clever plan, and just a whole lot of nerve, even the smallest group of people can make sure their voice is heard loud and clear.